and the headlines start to twist. He's digging through the stories, finding all the things you missed. Talking Super Bowl ads, old films in modern trouble. If the world's too loud, he cuts it down to the subtle. So turn that down, 'cause you know who's talking. Ooh, if there's truth in the static, Tom Gulley, from where you're looking. Ooh, you gotta dial G for Gulley. 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 Dial G for Gulley. You gotta dial G for Gulley. You gotta dial G for
Tom Gulley's got a mic in his hand. Ooh yeah, talking Bigfoot tracks in the sand. Hole punches, spiders, conspiracies tight. He's podcasting strong, deep into the night. From the man from UNCLE to the Motown scene. He's dropping gems like you never seen. Oh, you know Tom Gulley, he's the podcast king. Say what? Ladies man with a smooth, sweet swing. Bigfoot, spider, and 9/11 schemes. Tom's a man of your wildest dreams. Tom Gulley, he's got charm, got wit, and a silky flow. Oh yeah, talking mysteries only Tom would know. From R&B to the funk so tight, so tight. He's spinning webs like a spider at night. His voice is smooth like a Motown jam. Ooh-wee. You can't help but say that's my man. Oh yeah, Tom Gulley, he's the podcast king. Ladies man with a smooth, sweet swing. Bigfoot, spiders, and 9/11 schemes. Tom's the man of your wildest dreams. Tom Gulley, I'm gonna, Tom Gulley, I'm gonna, Tom Gulley, I'm gonna, Tom Gulley, I'm gonna, when the daylight's fading and the world feels wrong, there's a voice on the airwaves, steady and strong. From the heart of the internet's wild frontier, Tom Gulley's talking, pull up a chair. He's got stories, he's got takes, he's got calls rolling in. From the tales of the weird to the shape of the spin. If you're tired of the noise and the nonsense online, there's a seat in the Gullyverse. Come take your time. The show must go on. The show must go on. With the mic burning bright through the dusk to the dawn. Yeah, whatever goes wrong, the Tom Gulley Show lives on. The show must go on. He's the radio outlaw with a charm so sly. A storyteller's cadence and a wink in his eye. From the ghosts in the attic to the news of the day, Tom breaks it all down dusk to the dawn. Yeah, whatever goes wrong, the Tom Gulley Show lives on. The show must go on. So grab your Dr. Pepper and settle in tight. Tom's firing up the airwaves tonight. Whether chaos or calm, he keeps steering the ship with a quip, a riff, and that gully grip. The show must go on. The show must go on. Through the static and storms, every dusk, every dawn. From the heart of the net to the edge of beyond. The Tom Gulley Show lives on. Yes, the show must go on.
Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking? Tonight, let me tell you about Albert Dryden, a guy who did a very crazy, lunatic fringe, wacky thing, and then was embraced by a lot of people for doing the evil, terrible thing that he did. Is he a homicidal maniac or a working man's hero? We'll tell you all about it. First, do me a favor, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those free things you can do to help our little show here, along with the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-seeing algorithm. We also have that PayPal. Oh, do we love the PayPal. That's where you give the most, I get the most, Google gets nothing. Go to the TomGulleyShow.com and our merchandise stores there and a whole bunch of other things. A lot of that information is in the begging bar at the bottom of the screen, and the rest of it is in the description of the show, including Leon Kennedy, who does all the music for the show's open and close. He's got a page totally dedicated to the songs he's created for us, and if you want to download them and listen to them, as some have asked, believe it or not, that's where all that stuff is located. We got a few people in our chat room already. We've got Chris. He's wanting us to get going here. Says, have a great show. And, of course, the chef, an actual real chef at the fanciest restaurant in Indianapolis. Up there in the top of that big skyscraper, Indianapolis skyscraper. It's 40 stories or something. Very top of it, though. Very exclusive. You got to be a member to eat what the chef's cooking. Or the guest of a member. That's how I get in. I used to go there at least once a week for a couple of years. It was 20 years ago, but still, I went there with a member. Met Sharon Stone's best friend. She led with that. I'm Sharon Stone's best friend. Apparently. I never checked. Oh boy, oh boy. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet, as verified by independent sources. And here it is. The one, the only Rumpled Trench Coat, a Columbo podcast. You need to check that out on YouTube, a Columbo podcast. Rumpled Trench Coat. Been a guest on the show. If you like Columbo, even if you don't like Columbo, you need to watch a Columbo based on one of their shows, and then listen to the show afterwards. I can't watch a Columbo of the shows they've done without listening to their show after. They're a companion piece. So check out Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast, who's saying hello to all of you right now. So tip your cap. Tip your drinks and enjoy your waitresses. I'll be here all week. Anyway, tonight I want to tell you about a man named Albert Dryden. Albert Dryden. Oh boy, you guys are going to really enjoy this. This is Albert Dryden right here. Yes. Why is Albert Dryden famous? He's not famous for a good reason. He's famous for the murder of Harry Collinson, the planning officer for the Derwentside District Council in Buttsfield County, Durham, England. Now, it's a long story that I'm going to make a short story very, very quickly here. So Albert Dryden here was involved in a dispute with the Derwent District Council, over this, of all things, okay? This thing right here. This is what the fracas was about. He wanted to build a structure on his very rural property, and the council said that he didn't have the proper permission. Now, there was a bunch of back and forth and filing of things and him wanting to delay things and them insisting he had to follow the rules, etc., etc., etc. And that's what led to this confrontation. All right? It doesn't look like much to me. Why wouldn't you let the guy just build it? It's his land. It's, as you can see, out in the middle of nowhere, right? He's just a guy. Let him build his thing. I think that's the problem a lot of people had, right? But anyway, let's look into our good friend here, Mr. Albert Dryden. He was born in May of 1940 in Consett, right there in County Durham, which at the time was one of the biggest steelmaking towns in the world. He was one of 8 children. His parents were members of the Salvation Army. They were passionate members of the Salvation Army, very well liked, very respected within that community. And they lived in a nice little house on Priestman Avenue there in Consett. His dad worked for the Consett Iron Company, and he was described by a local police sergeant as the epitome of a northern patriarch, strict, clean-living man who did his best to bring his children up straight and true through good times and bad. But Albert, you see, was a very stay-to-himself type. Big imagination, often given to flights of fancy, delusions of grandeur. He did not enjoy going to school. No, not Albert. IQ tests that were taken during his adult time showed that his intelligence was substantially below average, okay? And nonetheless, he developed an interest in weapons and firearms from a very early age. He had purchased his own handgun by the age of 11. It was an unlicensed World War I Webley, a very famous gun manufacturer over in England. It was a Webley MK6, revolver. This one right here. First gun he ever purchased, aged 11. That's not the actual weapon, but it's one similar. It's the actual model that he purchased, and that actually is the weapon he later used to murder Harry Collinson. Paid 10 shillings for it, 50 pence. You guys can figure out how much that is in real money. It was stolen by a school friend from his father. He also bought with it a single bullet. The lack of ammunition, combined with the scarcity of and difficulty obtaining the correct cartridges for that weapon, would later sort of force Dryden, or at least led to him, beginning to manufacture his own ammunition, which, by the way, is not all that uncommon. Many people, if not manufacturing their own ammunition here in the United States, reload old casings or just make their own loads. They'll buy the casings, they'll buy the gunpowder and do it themselves to save money. When he actually shot Harry Collinson, he was using cartridges converted from a .410 bore shotgun shell, loaded with heavier than usual cast lead bullets, which Dryden referred to as his man stoppers. Yes. At any rate, at approximately 9:10 in the morning, on June 20th, 1991, A television news crew, the BBC, arrives, and they're all around him at his property. And he's arguing with them. He's arguing quite heavily with them, as a matter of fact. It is somewhat of a standoff, and there's quite a bit of back and forth. You know, the council members are telling him what he has to do, what he doesn't have to do. He's insisting that he has filed some additional paperwork that they need to respect. They're checking to see if it's been filed and if it's even legitimate. If so, back and forth and back and forth. And Harry Collinson is, you know, he's the planning officer for this particular governmental body, the Derwintside District Council, and he's insisting, no, you need to let us come in here and knock this building down. They're not planning on putting a lock on it or anything of that nature. They're going to knock that down, okay? Let us in, unlock the gate. And so they're all surrounding him. They're right there. There's Harry Collinson, as you see on the right. There's the BBC cameraman with his microphone and everything else. And Albert's arguing with them. He's not a happy person. He is giving them what for, as you might say. And this goes on for quite some time. Well, as that all went on, he said he was going to retrieve some things from his home. And he didn't do that. He didn't do that at all. No. I'll tell you what he did in just a second after I get through a few of these chats. Turkatron is here. She says, hi, Tom. Turkatron, we were just talking about Oak Cliff yesterday. No, it was Saturday when we talked about the JFK assassination because Officer J.D. Tippit was shot in Oak Cliff. And so there, we talked about Oak Cliff. Somebody tell the Oak Cliff Town Council that I was talking about. People saying hi. Gilman is here. Says, hey, Gullerinos. Gullerinos, Gullyheads, Gully. You pick the group you'd like to belong to. Judy Tester says, murder, no trespassing. Yeah. People saying hi. Most cheerful chat room on the internet is verified by independent sources. Chris says, classic gun. It is. All the web leaves are nice. Terry Nee is here. He's saying hello. And then he asks if JFK is dead. Well, you should know you were alive when it happened. That's a sick burn. That was a sick burn, let me tell you. So as the argument continues, and I'll recircle back here and get into some more of the details. This standoff kind of continues until Albert comes back out with his less formal, look, he took the jacket off, and he comes out with that Wesleyan hand. Now, video exists of all this. You can find it on the internet. I won't show it because, you know, people get their channels struck for that sort of thing around here. I understand. And Albert pulls out his gun and he shoots Harry Collinson dead on the spot. When this happens, everyone begins fleeing. And I mean everyone. And who wouldn't, right? Because he continues to shoot as people flee. This happens to be BBC television reporter Tony Belmont. He is actually wounded. If you can see his right hand there, his right arm, he's been shot and everyone is running. Albert also shot police constable Stephen Campbell. Neither one of them were shot fatally. After this happens, there's a standoff, like a true standoff. Not this standoff, but a real standoff. Armed police officers arrive. They'd been on standby for this incident, and they'd been sort of there if anything was going to happen. So they were ready, but they weren't on scene. They raced to the scene, and Albert Dryden, he retreats to a caravan on his property. Caravan, you're wondering what a caravan is. It's a camper. It's a trailer. Dryden warned them that the buildings on his property were booby-trapped with explosives and that there were landmines in the ground around the property and that he had a supply of hand grenades inside that caravan. Well, roughly 2 hours after the shooting, police negotiators, they say, look, we would like to install a field telephone so that we can communicate better with you. And Dryden, again, of below intelligence, comes out of this caravan to the perimeter fence, this fence here, to watch them install the field telephone. Unfortunately, he didn't count on Officer Sergeant John Taylor, because John Taylor, as Albert Dryden was doing this, very cleverly noticed that Albert's holster was empty. Yes. Sergeant John Taylor was a tactical firearms officer, you see, and that was something that he would notice, an empty holster. And Sergeant Taylor immediately wrestled him to the ground, assisted by police constables Chris Barber, Andy Ray, and Philip Brown. They were able to subdue Dryden, and he was taken into police custody. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. That other police constable, by the way, was shot in the thigh. Yes. A police vehicle had approached at the time. Superintendent Stan Haggerty, Inspector Jeff Young were approaching him in this particular vehicle. And he started shooting at the vehicle, so that vehicle had to reverse at full speed. He then reloaded and walked back to where the demolition vehicles were parked. Remember, they were going to level this building, right? They were going to blow it up. He fired twice into an excavator. They were going to not blow it up, but raise it. They were going to knock it down with bulldozers and excavators and things like that. Twice into a low loader and once into a car. He then returned to where he had shot Collinson in the first time, where he was on the ground, and shot him again in the lower face and in the chest. This incident was captured, as I mentioned, on camera, and it was transmitted to the BBC's regional news program, Look North. And the footage shows Collinson asking the camera crew to get a shot of Dryden's gun when he came out like this, okay? Get a shot of the gun, said Collinson. The camera pans to Dryden, the shot you see now, who fires the gun at Collinson, who's now off camera. As everyone flees, he shot and wounded those two individuals. A fuller version of the footage, including a prior visit and the aftermath, now is part of the BBC's internal training course on filming things safely. Anyway, a subsequent search of the property and the home uncovered 10 handguns, 15 rifles, 3 shotguns, 2 homemade mortars with 8 projectiles, an improvised propane bomb, and a 20-millimeter cannon modified to be attached to one of his vehicles. Dryden had no firearms license, and all the weapons were illegal. Now, following all this, it became known that Collinson and Dryden had previously enjoyed a friendly relationship. Collinson regularly visited that property to advise Dryden on planting trees for screening and what kind of building work was permitted. However, Dryden's increasingly bizarre behavior and his decision to dig a deep trench in which to build a bungalow with just the roof showing, and his threats towards and his actual physical assaults on various members of the council staff brought those two into conflict, which it might. You know, Albert, you might stop attacking the council member. It was also revealed the council had wanted to visit the site under cover of darkness to carry out the demolition. And that's when Dryden would have been sleeping at his home, which was actually several miles away from this particular property. Collinson said, "No, this is underhanded, and we should do this in the day and in the presence of the media so that nobody thinks we're acting inappropriately toward this man." Collinson didn't expect Dryden to back down. That's why he arranged for the camera crew employed by the council to record this confrontation, which would allow the council to retreat without demolishing the building. Instead, they would pass this footage on to the high court and let the high court deal with the matter. So Harry Collinson was like, look, I know this guy. Let's do this above board, and let's just get it off of our plate. Let's not do this. No, we don't need to be the people that do this. So Dryden, of course, is tried. He's tried in this building here. This is the Moot Hall Crown Court in Newcastle upon Tyne. All right. And this was in March of the next year. He's charged with murder, the attempted murder of Belmont, the BBC reporter, Campbell, the police officer, and counsel solicitor Michael Dunstan, an alternative charge of wounding Belmont and Campbell with intent to cause grievous bodily harm. He entered pleas of not guilty to all charges on the grounds of diminished responsibility, which is basically, it's a partial defense. It's not like here, if you get off for insanity, you're totally not guilty. This one is a partial defense, which it reduces the offense from murder to manslaughter if successful. So it gives the judge some sentencing discretion and things of that nature. Now, after 13 days of trial, the jury took just 2 hours of deliberation before finding Dryden guilty of Collison's murder, guilty of the attempted murder of Dunstan, guilty of wounding Belmont and Campbell. Dryden was sentenced to life imprisonment for the murder, life imprisonment for the attempted murder, and 2 terms of 7 years for the woundings, all to be served concurrently. Mrs. Justice Ebsworth, sentencing, said, "The state of your mind on June 20th was abnormal, but not abnormal to the extent of diminishing your responsibility for what you did. You are a dangerous man." His appeal was dismissed 2 years later in February of 1994. He also made 4 applications for parole, and those were all rejected because he showed absolutely no remorse whatsoever for his crimes. While he was in prison, he maintained that he was the victim of high-level Masonic conspiracy and that Collinson has been his golfing partner of the chief constable of Dunham Constabulary, despite Collinson being neither a Freemason nor a golfer. Described as increasingly divorced from reality, Dryden also claimed the prison authorities were attempting to poison him. Yes, poison him. Now, because he was standing up for the ability to just build on his own property without government interference, he became somewhat of a folk hero to some very extremist groups. And there were people that would champion, well, he stood up to the man and things of this nature, which is just kind of lunacy. He was released early, however. And you're thinking, well, that doesn't sound fair to me. Well, it might here in a second, okay? It just might here in a second. But first, I'm going to get to some of your very intelligent comments. Terry said, Mom helped. Oh, so it was a conspiracy. You heard it here first. Terry Nee involved in a conspiracy. Turkatron says, oh, what? No way. Yeah, corner of 10th and Patton, if you know that particular part of Oak Cliff. I volunteer at the Top 10 Records. They had an event over the weekend. Do they sell CDs and DVDs and Blu-rays previously owned? If they did, I might come down there and buy some. Rumpled Trenchcoat said, I had that jacket. I wore it with a turtleneck in the 80s. I was probably heavily influenced by Banachek, A Cool Million. I didn't have that jacket. I had a corduroy one with the elbow patches. And I wore it with I'd wear it like crazy. Let's see here. Gene 1313 says, is this isn't why the UK doesn't have guns? No. This isn't it. That ain't it. The tan jacket, yes. And a partridge in a pear tree. That's for the end of the litany of weapons. I gotcha. I was going to do that myself, to be honest with you. The guy behind Albert had a camera in his hand. Pretty crazy. Yes. Yeah, there were cameras all over the place, Rumpled. It might have been this guy. Wait. You talking about this guy here? Yeah, there were plenty of cameras there. Did he consider himself a sovereign citizen? I think that's like a movement. And I don't think he considered himself part of a movement. The movement of one crazy guy is what that movement was. A fatal game of kick the can. Oh, gosh, it was. It was. And there's several other pictures. And actually, the footage of this is available. You can see it online. And these people are just running for the hills. They dispersed very quickly. I would have been gone when the gun came out myself. I would have said, okay, we'll talk about this later. Diminished, by the way, Rumpled Trenchcoat, a member for 19 months. We're low on membership right now. We're low on everything. By the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those absolutely free things you can do to help us out a little bit. Something for the effort. Doesn't cost you anything, just a click. And it does help us with the algorithm, the almighty, all powerful algorithm. In addition, plus also as well, we got the PayPal. It's down there in the thingamabob, the begging bar, right down. It's down. It's, if you look under the thing, it's right there. And it's also in the description of the show. And when you do that, then YouTube doesn't get 30%. It's just both of us enjoying commerce. It's a beautiful thing. And the TomGulleyShow.com, where the merch store is. We got some great merch. By matter of fact, I believe Rumpled Trenchcoat himself has a Tom Gulley Show mug. Focal point of praise and pleasure. Sure to add a charm and glow to any room. Anyway, thank you for being a member for 19 months. That's what we call an OG. That's what the kids call an OG. Gilman is laughing at Rumpled Trenchcoat, which is appropriate. He's funny. He says funny things. He knows lots of things, too. Okay, so I was promising you earlier, incidentally, well, I'll get to that in a second. I was promising you earlier to tell why Albert Dryden was released early, lest you think he got off easy. So he was in prison from 1991 to 2017, 2017. Okay. And that's 26 years. And you'd think he would have been in longer. Life sentence, after all, right? 2 of them. Well, in 2017, Dryden suffered a severe stroke and was released from prison on compassionate grounds to be cared for in a residential care home. Harry Collinson's brother said, personally, I couldn't bloody care less what happens to Albert Dryden. If he dies slowly, that's good. I'll be very happy about that. He never showed one bit of remorse in all the 26 years he's been in prison. He still tried to justify his actions. If the police had done their job properly, my brother wouldn't have been killed and Albert Dryden wouldn't have spent all this time in prison. He died a year later, in September of 2018, at 78 years of age in that care home following his release. The 1992 album Bombed Out by northeastern punk band The Angelic Upstarts included the song Albert's Got a Gun. Death on a Summer's Day by former police officer David Blackie recalls the incident as witnessed by him on that day. Oh boy, looky here. Rumpled Trenchcoat has a Tom Gulley Show mug and a matching wall clock for his study. Do you prefer study or den? Or man cave? Or man cave. The Tom Gulley Show clock is I'm telling you, it's a nice... Oh, Terry Nee also. Well, see, Terry, Rumpled Trenchcoat has the beer mug. The big glass mug with the frosted... And you have the 20-ounce coffee mug that you eat oatmeal and sometimes oatmeal and yogurt from. I know. You guys tell me. I remember. And the wall clock. And Terry Nee says the same. They're spectacular. Hey, trust me, after Thanksgiving, I'll be shilling our merch store for Christmas gifts like crazy. The squeals of delight when your children and loved ones get a Tom Gulley Show piece of merchandise around the Christmas holidays is, well, it's just got to be experienced to know that Christmas joy like no other. Hey, you know, at the top of this chat, I have, oh my goodness gracious me, the always generous Rumpled Trenchcoat has gifted 5 Tom Gulley Show memberships. 5, count them, 5. And I hope they've gone to people, because a lot of people that are subscribers have subscribed because they hate me, and they're just subscribing so they can be evil in my chat room. And so a lot of times when they're gifted, you know, they go to people that hate me. That's fine. I look, if you hate me, the only thing that can unharden your heart is a Tom Gulley Show membership. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, I prefer study. I was a big fan of Clue. Let me tell you something. I was a big fan of the movie Clue for 4 reasons. Jennifer Warren in the low-cut dress, and the maid, the French maid in the low-cut dress. Those of you looking for 2 additional reasons have never seen the movie. Wink. Anyway, that's all I got to tell you about the lovely and talented Mr. Albert Dryden. And by the way, a little shout out to Harry Collins, and a man just doing his job who did not deserve all of that. You know, let's see here. Gene1313 says, I love the movie too. It's great. It has 3 different endings. You can watch any of the 3 different endings. Speaking of Thanksgiving, says Rumpled Trenchcoat, don't forget to put a dab of stuffing on your turkey sandwich leftovers. Yeah, you know, Rumpled Trenchcoat turned me on to this sandwich that he makes after Thanksgiving. You take the leftover turkey and you put it on a sandwich. Obviously, you guys watched my show on sandwiches, so you know what a sandwich is. It's the 2 pieces of bread, right? And then he puts some stuffing on top of there. Now, I feel like I improved upon this a little bit. So I take a little ranch dressing. Yeah, just a little ranch dressing and put it on top of the stuffing. And then, you got yourself a sandwich. It's not a sandwich, it's a sandwich. You betchy. Terry Nee says, I keep mine in the war room. That's right, the war room. You know, when I lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana, this is a side note. When I lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana, one of my favorite things, oh, by the way, I think I've been remiss. Good Lord, I believe I've been remiss. Rumpled Trenchcoat, you get the point for that very, very wonderful donation there. That's the highest honor that can be bestowed. Anyway, when I lived in Fort Wayne, Indiana, one of my favorite things about living there was the Fort Wayne Comets, the hockey team, the oldest hockey team outside the original six in the NHL. Been around since like 1952. And they play at the Allen County War Memorial Stadium. Imagine driving up on that and having to play hockey. They're going to memorial to a war here. They're not messing around, man. Terry Nee said, and a layer of green bean casserole, I'm assuming that should be. I'm not gonna say that's a bad idea. I'm also not gonna say I'm not gonna try that this year, because I probably will. Let's see. The Clue movie rules. It still holds up. It really does. And pick your own ending. Who cares? It's really good. It's a very, very good movie. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, now I'll have to try it with ranch. That sounds good. Oh, it's good. Oh, mama. Mama. Let's see here. They spent so much money doing different things in different theaters. Nothing like it has been done since. That's actually not accurate. Goat says, no, you're doing leftovers all wrong. What? I think we're doing them right. I think turkey is one of the worst leftover things, and making a sandwich out of it, because isn't that the crucible? Is you're done with the turkey, you've got just tons of turkey left, right? If you're like me, I eat the ham. I don't even touch the turkey. I'm not crazy about turkey. And then you got to figure out how to make things out of turkey soup, turkey sandwiches, turkey and cornflakes. You got to put it on everything. I think this is a great way to do it. Gene 1313 says, maybe a show on Clue, the movie. Well, I'm going to write it down. I'm getting quite a list here again, I'm telling you. S&H green stamps, the Sunshine Skyway Bridge collapse. Clue. I'll do one on it. The chef says you lost me at ranch dressing. Well, you're a chef. Your palate is more cultivated than most of us commoners. Gilman says you were 7 months. Gilman. Right on. Solid. You rock, Rumpled Trenchcoat. Please give my love and respect to Adrian. Yes, give all of our well wishers to your partner in crime on Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast. And if you're not going there and subscribing right now, shame on you. Like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all the free things you can do for this show, and then ski-daddle on over to Rumpled Trenchcoat. Now, what you do is, and these stream free on Hulu or Tubi, or it's either Tubi or I think it's Tubi. The episodes of Columbo, the first season and the second season, the early ones. And I think you guys are up to episode 14 or 15. So because Columbo it was rotating, it had not as many episodes per season. But anyway, get into it. Go to an episode. The name of the episode, episode 1, watch it, and then listen to the Rumpled Trenchcoat episode afterwards. It will expand your mind voluminously. Godna says, millions of extra dollars just to make a better film and nothing else. been a lot of movies, more than one. Julian Zeezer's here, says hi, Tom, and everyone else. Hello, Julian. People saying hi. Most cheerful chat room on the internet is verified by independent sources. Rumble Trenchcoat says, I will, Gil, and thank you. And I thank you. Gardner says, so there have been other movies since with different... Yes. And there were movies before that with different endings. There were movies that you could vote on in the theater which ending you wanted to see. Come on, man. Look up William Castle sometime. Oh, William Castle. Boom. There's another show topic. Oh, man. Jeepers Creepers. That guy up. Look that fella up. Yeah, there's been a lot of them. Been a bunch of them, matter of fact. What do we got? 20 minutes left here. Yeah, we got the link at the top. Especially for people that like to chirp. Where are all these people that when I go into a chat room somewhere, FTG, all that stuff, they got plenty of... They won't come here. 1v1, mano to mano. As, was it Ford Fairlane? Mano to mano. What's that even mean? All right. Goat says, you make a nice waffle batter, throw some stuffing in it, whatever, make waffles, and make a waffle sandwich with your leftovers. Well, you know, not opposed to that idea. However, omelet. What about an omelet? I'm thinking omelet. White beard. I'm assuming you mean white bread. It's okay. I speak Penn State. Turkey and Miracle Whip. The best. Well, dry. Better get some pickles or something on that, or it's going to be dry. I don't care how much mayonnaise you put on there. In Indiana, we call it mayonnaise. I don't know why. Gene1313 says he was the B movie king, William Castle. I just wrote his name down, Gene. Look at there, right there. And we will be doing a show on William Castle, an amazing man. What was the name of his book that he wrote? I have it here. Boom, jagalaga. It's called Step Right Up. I'm going to scare the pants off America. That's what it's called. That's what it's called. Yes, sir, Bob. Rumble Trenchcoat says, we've got our 16th episode out. Any old port in a storm. Speaking of delicate palates. Okay, now you got to tell me which one that is. It's obviously about the cooking. Well, I mean, I'll just look it up myself here real quick so I can sound smarter than I. Boom, shagalaga. Oh, the Donald Pleasance one. Oh, who doesn't love Donald Pleasance? Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Second episode of season 3. Wine connoisseur. Wine connoisseur. Oh, port. I get it. Any old port. That's right. The kind of wine. Oh, man. You know what? I'm watching that, and I'm watching the Columbo episode. And then I'm watching your thing. Let me see here. Bam, shakalaka, boom. It's on Tubi for free. And if it's free, it's for me. I'll be watching that on Tubi tonight. And I will be watching the Rumpled Trenchcoat episode tonight. Tonight. Tonight, the strip's just right. I'm gonna throw 'em. Springsteen fans, anybody? All right. How many times do you watch A Christmas Story during the holidays, Tom? It could be one or it could be none. My movie, and if you guys haven't watched myself and Bob Levy talk about It's a Wonderful Life, that's my holiday movie, other than Die Hard, of course. That's my holiday movie. Incidentally, I might mention heading into Thanksgiving, the best Thanksgiving movie by far, there's none even in the conversation, is Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And if you haven't watched it in a while, rewatch it. Yes, it is a hilarious movie, but it's also kind of a tearjerker. And it's a very, very good film. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Check it out. The best Thanksgiving movie. I'm going to see if I can get Bob to be on during the Christmas time again and do another show on It's a Wonderful Life where we'll just take all the characters and talk about them one by one, the major characters. I think that'd be a good show. Mr. Sardonicus. Oh, God, the face of Mr. Sardonicus. I almost want to... Do I want to download the face of Mr. Sardonicus and just... Good Lord, that is a nasty-looking face. I can't... Do I have it here? Oh, yes, here it is. Here it is. I can, in fact, download that. And if I can download it, then I can put it in the show because it's got a Creative Commons license. Of course, that means I have to get rid of one of my fine pictures of Albert Dryden. Because why? Because the free version of StreamYard only allows you 10 photos. But fear not, if you pay them $50 a month, you get an extra 0 pictures that you can have at your disposal. What do you think about that? Huh? Isn't that a reason to give them $50? Huh? Isn't that, huh? Huh? Yeah. All right, here he is. There's Mr. Sardonicus. Good Lord. Good gravy. Happy Thanksgiving, kids. I'm just going to leave that up. I'm just going to leave that there for no reason. Absolutely no reason. Our good friend the chef says a sub bun, turkey gravy, light cranberry sauce, pizza cheese, bake. Thank me later. Okay. All right. You lost me on the cranberry sauce, though. I can't have my sandwiches. Maybe I'll try it. You're a chef. What am I talking about? What do I know? Terry Nee laughing. Not mayo. Miracle Whip. Miracle Whip, it's the same thing. I don't care if you call it salad dressing. It's mayonnaise. Hey, you're all fanciful there with your Penn State and your squeaky door and your... Yeah. We're just good, common, hard-working people of the land. We don't go by your fanciful ways. I bet you don't have Jell-O. You have gelato, what you have. Ooh, the knees are coming over, honey. Better get the good Chinette out. Team Brittany is here. She's here from that fabulous, fabulous giant law tuber show that experiences much more, but the same kind of online trollery that I do. And is probably nicer about it than I am. I'm so nice about it. I have an open link on my show every single night, and none of the people that come into the room and with their shenanigans ever take advantage of it because they know what would happen. That's right. Good to see you, Team Brittany. She says, late but here. Sleep has been my bestie today. Hey, man. Look, it doesn't matter. Either you're going to fall asleep naturally or you're going to watch this show, which has been known to put people to sleep. Gilman, thank you so much. Always very generous. What the hell happened there? What happened? Oh, there we are. It was my fault, I guess. Yes. Let's see. Oh, you're talking William Castle movies. Super sticker. Thank you so much, Gilman. You're always very generous, and I do appreciate it. Rumpled Trenchcoat says, oh man, The Tingler was another doozy. Well, he did 13 Ghosts, the first version. He did The House on Haunted Hill. He's done several that have been remade. But The Tingler was one where in many theaters, not necessarily every single theater, but most of them, they attached a device on the bottom of the chair that vibrated, and you were told in the theater that the Tingler was in the theater, and people freaked out. Oh my God, it's on my chair! Oh my God! And he did all sorts of stuff like that. He had ghosts flying out of the ceiling. We'll cover him. We'll cover him. William Castle. Team Brittany, hashtag Halloween. Yes, indeed. Donald Pleasance. Yes. Gilman says, oh, hey, team, people saying hi. People saying hi. The most cheerful chat room on the internet is verified by independent sources, whether you're a Gullerino, Gully head, or a member of the Gully gang, even the flock of sea gullies, a lesser known, but yes, actual true group. We're just damn glad to have you. Robo Trenchcoat says, nice. I can't wait for the William Castle show. He's one of my favorites. Well, that's next week. We could make that on Monday, unless some of you will be off on holiday. You guys tell me when you want it. That's what we do. It's the best John Candy movie, says Gilman. Well, I would agree personally, but there are many people who would tell you Uncle Buck is the best John Candy movie. Isn't Tom Gulley in that Planes, Trains movie? No, but I can be through the miracle of AI. And if I was, you know who I'd be? Can't get to Wichita from here unless you're a hog or a cattle. That's who I'd be. Oh, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, Team Brittany. Believe me, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about Planes, Trains with me and Stuttering John in the opening. Let me see if I have that loaded in here. I don't think I do. No, but I do have Galumbo. I do have Galumbo loaded up at all times. Yeah. Wow, what a handsome dude. Yeah, that's a good-looking fella. Well, the Sardonicus is better looking than me, but what else do I have in here? I haven't ransacked this in a long time. I have the Tom Gulley, Marshall McLuhan, and I have the Wolf. I have the Wolf's media wall here for some reason. Come on. StreamYard, you're supposed to be helping. You're never helping. Okay, I guess it's just not going to show it. Oh, no, it just didn't add it. It normally adds it to the screen, and I don't want. There's the Wolf's media wall. Let's get Galumbo back up there. Everybody loves Galumbo. And we have special guest Rumpled Trenchcoat here, a Columbo podcast. Again, I'm telling you, I myself will be going to Tubi tonight. I will watch Any Port in a Storm, the second episode of the third season. I will then listen to, on YouTube, the Rumpled Trenchcoat, a Columbo podcast episode. Please go there right now on another tab. Don't quit watching this show by all means. And subscribe to that show. I double dog dare SG to make a Sardana Gully. I could make one. Not gonna, but I could make one. There's already one. Why do you need one? This one works just fine. Terry Nee says, I'm from Illinois. Our mayo is spicy. Spicy. They likes their mayo spicy. In Utah, where I lived, they had something. I've never heard of this. You may have. I grew up on a small farm in Indiana. We were people of the land with simple ways. And we had no knowledge of Italian food or any of, it was just basic American cuisine. They have a thing there called fry sauce. Fry sauce, which is ketchup and mayo mixed together. For your French fries. Our good friend the chef says, I just sent you a picture of Facebook. On Facebook. All right. Which of these pictures am I going to get rid of if I'm going to go and... Wouldn't do this for just anybody, chef. By the way, like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell. I know I've said it 2 times already. This is the 3rd time. Please, for the love of help a brother out. Give our little show a chance. We need a new mouse. I don't know. I hear a lot of that hoo-ha when I'm watching other shows. You know, we desperately need a new surge protector. We need another power strip. For the love of God, help us out. All right, looks like I have it here. Randy's got a thing he sent me. Here it is. I think there's a download. Oh, you just sent me? Well, this is It's a Wonderful Life. I already know about this. I thought you were sending me a picture of some food. How dare you? How dare you? Oh, boy. Okay, hold on. I'm taking it all back. What's this say? Forward. It says download. Okay. All right, then. I'll go ahead and I'll put that up on screen. Tell me about this, Randy. I know you just sent me a picture, but what in the Sam Hill is it a picture of? Pray tell me. I'd like to know. It's of interest to me as a beer. If it would just show up. Come on, show up. All right, I'll look for it here in a second. It's taking a second. Countdown to Stranger Things. Is Stranger Things on tonight? Is it on in just a few minutes or something? Am I missing something? Tom, your thoughts on Granny? I have no thoughts on Granny whatsoever. Except to say that if I were a man of his age with the very clear and admitted problem with the drink, and I was living in a shed, and I was using a cooler as bathroom facilities, I would not be adding to my problems. That I would not be doing. Team Brittany says, Gilman, whoa, that's the craziest sentence I've read all day. It's true, he says. You can't believe a word out of that guy's mouth for 2 reasons. Number 1, and number 2, he will say anything to inflame the situation he has with his ex. And my advice to anyone with an ounce of common in their head, completely disregard him and ignore him. He needs help. The guy needs help. Look, if I were living in a shed and making in a cooler, I wouldn't be online. I'd be getting things straightened out, you know? Maybe it's just a picture of the Facebook logo. I don't know. Wednesday, tomorrow night, will be Stranger Things. You know, Stranger Things takes place in Indiana. Clearly, I need to read up on this person called Granny. You really shouldn't. You really should not. Although, if you were to search on YouTube, Tom Gulley and Granny, shed with AC, though. I don't think it matters. Albert Dryden, my only thoughts on him is I hope he gets the help his needs for him and his family. Well, I do too. That's what I'm saying. When you talk about bringing a gun to a kid's birthday party, you need some help. And apparently he's gone to get that sort of help a couple of times and left. I didn't used to follow the AA's model of people have to completely bottom out. You know, they tell family and friends, don't help them anymore. They have to hit rock bottom to really want to change. I didn't used to believe that. I kind of do now sometimes. And that's one of those cases. For his family's sake, yes. Everyone say goodnight, Gracie. Good night, Gracie. Oh, doggone it. Don't go just yet. Let me just say for 1 second. Let's see if I can get the thing that I downloaded up here for you. Oh, there it is. Bingo bango. Here from our good friend, the chef, is the thing that he sent me. Steak and Shake since 1934, 87. There must have been some sort of reunion or something, because he's got It's a Wonderful Life with signatures from a whole bunch of people on there. I don't know if they're members of the movie or his fellow coworkers at Steak and Shake, and frankly, I don't care. Anyway, let's see here. Tom, do a deep dive, I dare you, on Stranger Things and look into the lab. And if anyone wants to be completely freaked out, look at the fine print of the show based on a true story. All right, let me see here. Stranger Things Lab. Stranger Things is, there's whole podcasts and things dedicated to that. So let me jump on that train. Anyway, there you go, Chef. I'm sorry I didn't get that up sooner. I blame myself. Hint, the lab is in Tennessee. Well, then I'm not talking unless it's in Indiana. I'm kidding. I'll talk about it. Let's see. Boom, shakalaka. There we go. Gene says, night to you, Mr. Gulley, and the best chat. Well, thank you so much. I'm about to put a fork in this thing and play our awesome new song, The Show Must Go On. I think if I was to pick, of all the songs he's done, this one would be the one I would pick for a theme song. Good night, Gene 1313, the chat machine who keeps it clean. Well, Team Brittany, that I know is Hawkins, Indiana. And the reason it has such special meaning to me is that I have a relative whose maiden name, my grandmother's maiden name, I have relatives that are from a family called Hawkins. There. The Hawkins Farm and the Hawkins Pond. So Hawkins is very meaningful to me. Yes. Yes. So anyways, tomorrow night's show, too bad the chef left. Tomorrow night's show, our topic is gravy. Bam! Gravy. And you won't believe the varieties of gravy that there are. People saying bye, people saying bye. Oh, Team Brittany's leaving. Goodbye, Team Brittany. You're not going to hear the song. Oh, God, it hurts. Katie Hawkins. You probably only knew her at night. Not even during the day. Any old way. Let me get rid of some of this hoo-ha here. Oh, she's waiting for the song. Okay, I better hurry it up because I gotta get the graphic for it, which is nearby. I don't have to, but I feel like I should. I made a special graphic because I don't like using the other thing. Hold on, it's here. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. So very, very sorry. This is the graphic I made for the end of the show. I should be using it for the big. What in the high hooey? What's going on here, StreamYard? Please. Come on, man. All right. Okay, so, hold on here. My wife makes very wonderful homemade gravy. I'm working Thanksgiving, so we're celebrating it tomorrow. Yum! Well, tomorrow is that show. We will not be on Thanksgiving at this time that I know of. And then Friday, because we didn't do a show on Thursday, we will be doing the Yuba County Five. 5 men who vanished without a trace. 4 of them were later found in a condition none of us wants to be in. And the 5th has never been found. Good night. Red Eye Gravy, underrated. I agree. Red Eye Gravy is a damn fine gravy. Hey, I'm looking at that old clock on the wall. Sketty sauce. I don't think that's red eye gravy. I don't know what that means. That old clock on the wall, and it says, like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get on up out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. No. And with all that being said, I think the only thing, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you as always, Team Brittany. With all that being said, before I play this awesome new song that's so awesome that it's awesome, closing time. Got a lot of... Okay. Happy Thanksgiving, Team Brittany. People say... Okay. The only thing that needs to be said is, before I made... This song is so good. Thank you, Leon Kennedy. Till next time, take away the banners, because that's, frankly, at this point, distasteful. Until next time, we'll see you next time.
When the daylight's fading and the world feels wrong, there's a voice on the airwaves, steady and strong. From the heart of the internet's wild frontier, Tom Gulley's talking, pull up a chair. He's got stories, he's got takes, he's got calls rolling in. From the tales of the weird to the shape of the spin. If you're tired of the noise and the nonsense online, there's a seat in the Gullyverse. Come take your time. The show must go on. The show must go on. With the mic burning bright through the dusk to the dawn. Yeah, whatever goes wrong, the Tom Gulley Show lives on. The show must go on. He's the radio outlaw with a charm so sly, a storyteller's cadence and a wink in his eye. From the ghosts in the attic to the news of the day, Tom breaks it all down in his signature way. He's the king of the ramble, the lord of the yarn. He'll take you from evening straight through the dawn, with callers so strange you'd swear they're a bit. But Tom never wavers, he just rolls with it. The show must go on. The show must go on. With the mic burning bright through the dusk to the dawn. Yeah, whatever goes wrong, the Tom Gulley Show lives on. The show must go on. So grab your Dr. Pepper and settle in tight. Tom's firing up the airwaves tonight. Whether chaos or calm, he keeps steering the ship with a quip, a riff, and that gully grip. The show must go on. The show must go on. Through the static and storms, every dusk, every dawn. From the heart of the net to the edge of beyond. The Tom Gulley Show lives on. Yes, the show must go